so many people. Even coming in new though. Comes into the full prison as well. Black Dog is ready for it. He goes down and the Raven but it might not be enough. Core is on 50%. Mortis is getting steam.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash here for Heroes of the Storm, as we are going to be getting into our semi-finals now. We have 3 more series to go here as we find out. That's a really big lamp on that image. That was really weird. I don't even know what that was. That was crazy. I'm thrown for a loop. Let's restart. So we are going to get into our semi-finals here between our next upcoming teams. Let's check in with the brackets to see exactly how things have happened so far and where we are right now. Because at the moment here, we are on the road to crown ourselves a new King of Europe. And we see that Team Dignitas was able to take first place in Group A, with the second place going over to My Insanity. Group B, we have Fnatic taking that first place, and then Team Liquid going through in the double O fashion against G2 once again. That brings us on to our semi-finals, where we have Team Dignitas against Team Liquid, which is hype, hype, hype. And then Fnatic versus My Insanity, which is also hype, hype, hype. So for me, guys, personally, I think we definitely have the right top 4 here. They have all looked very, very good as of late.
Yes, I completely agree, Kalaris. These 4, probably, maybe not on everyone's books, but generally they seem to be the top 4 favorites. They have made good on that promise so far. And now it's going to have to wait and see who has the most ambitious follow-up goal.
Yeah. Have there been any like major upsets for you guys over on the other side of the desk here? Anything that's kind of rustled you a little, or?
I don't think it's so much as an upset as it is just a cool / funny shift in the changes that we've seen in the European scene. Not just in terms of lineups all across the board with a lot of those teams, but even in terms of level. Like My Insanity, it's very rare usually to see a team have a breakout performance like this, and one of those newer teams that's playing together in My Insanity, breaking into a top 4 instead of teams like Virtus.pro, G2, and all these guys, so, or even Rocket. So that's very impressive in itself, I think, to have that happens here, and I think it's always cool to have newcomers like this that perform very well.
Yeah, and I also think that overall, the level of skill that we see these days has just improved so much. Not only, you know, back in the days we had Team Liquid in Europe, and then far above, or below actually, excuse me, there was nothing. And right now we have so many strong teams, Fnatic, Dignitas, they all are able to surprise us here, and they're all able to win the trophy. And I think this is what really makes Heroes of the Storm such an interesting game to follow at the moment.
This is a very different, actually, this top 4 is so different than what we had in Prague. Only one team is left from the top 4 that we had in Prague, and that's Dignitas. And it's a little bit of a mix of both Navi's players from back then and Dignitas, so it's
there was a bit of an unfortunate
changes.
Occurrence in the group stages, I guess, there, where it was Dignitas, Team Liquid, and Navi all in the same group because of seedings, etc., that happened. But you're totally right. With Dignitas here only being there and lingering about. For now, of course, we have our semi-finals and finals on the way. We can check the schedule out just to confirm exactly what's going to be going on in the next couple of hours or so here between these couple of teams, and then moving on to the grand final later on. So we will start things with Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid. This, for me, is a very, very hype match. And then later on, we have Fnatic versus My Insanity. My Insanity with their fantastic aggression. And then we have Fnatic, obviously, with quite the play that they have had in the past. We saw Quacknix as well, really making a name for himself, all in all, with 2 amazing plays back-to-back after one another with the Falstad. And if we'd have said that months ago, 2 players back-to-back with a Falstad, we'd have just been like, ha. But it is a reality now.
And let's remember where they came from. Quacknix and Smexistal, 2 teams that were with Pirates of Pyjama. And they were not performing really well during the European Road to BlizzCon Championships.
They didn't win a map back then, like drawing comparisons with the European Road to BlizzCon.
They dropped out so early, and now they're playing on such a top level, really developing into very capable players.
Of course, in the last few months, they have been able to practice, not worry too much about making shortcuts in their training, like, oh, our next competition is in 1 week, we've got to prepare for BlizzCon, let's do whatever works now. But they had a chance to kind of basically reinvent themselves and and to watch BlizzCon and to learn from it and to see what works for us.
Yeah.
And you often see that actually sportsmen, in times of injuries, where like a football player, he's grounded, he's unable to play for 1.5 months, those could be periods where they strategically improve more than they have done in more than a year.
Yeah. I can empathize with that, actually. Back when I was drumming very actively, whenever I would take a little break, you would think about it a lot, and you would think about how you were kind of trying to increase your methodology and the kind of methods you would actually use things, and it would be very, very powerful. Did that kind of thing ever happen in like Warcraft 3 a lot, or?
I never took any breaks almost. Like, yeah, maybe like a vacation, 1 or 2 weeks at the very most, but I had very little vacations too during my pro gaming.
Yeah, but didn't you think that whenever you were not playing is when you were making big changes to your play?
It's
like,
true.
You know, in a real-time strategy game, you kind of have this build order, which I guess can be compared to, like, for example, the talents that you're going to pick and stuff. Basically, like your entire strategy usually is not decided while you play.
Right.
You're thinking of the game while you're not playing, of the games that you already played, and you tell yourself in your head, from now on, I'm not going to go for this, I'm going to go for this. And then that's when you do it the next time.
Right.
So realistically, taking a break or, you know...
That's exactly what I mean.
Not getting to play while there is a big tournament like BlizzCon happening definitely has helped these guys. And it's not just the players from Pirates in Pajamas that we're seeing on Fnatic later on. It's also the guys that were already on Fnatic that didn't do very well back then in Prague.
They've meshed well.
At the road to BlizzCon. And somehow, from 2 losing teams, they've made a winning team.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Let's see if they can pursue this further and continue on throughout the tournament. Of course, if you're tuning in just now throughout, you can get involved really with DreamHack and also the hashtag DreamHackPlaysHeroes. Go over to Twitter and tweet at us who you think is going to be able to advance on forwards to the championship out of these 4 teams. And then you can be in with a chance of winning yourself a code for Cho'Gall in game. Not only that, but you can also scroll down just a little bit on the Twitch page and make sure to find out all the information about binding your account to Twitch TV, your Battle.net account, of course, and then you can actually get yourself Cho'Gall if you're watching at 6 p.m. onwards here, guaranteed, actually, at the latest by December the 4th. For now, though, we have our first match on the way here in the semi-finals, guys. It is going to be Team Dignitas going up against Team Liquid. We've said it a million times. I've said it a million times. I'm not going to say it again. Team Dignitas was original. Yeah.
You are saying.
Almost.
Say it.
No.
Team Dignitas was able to wrestle the crown of Europe's best from Team Liquid.
Yes.
Directly. And then, of course, Na'Vi took that for a while, but they're not here.
But the thing is
technically.
Oh, yeah, 2 of them are here, sure. Yeah.
The thing is
2 former members.
Team Dignitas almost dismantled Team Liquid in the position that they were in. When it came to the European road to BlizzCon, they beat them very, very thoroughly. And since then, they did have roster changes. There is definitely a rivalry between these 2 teams with the remaining members that are on there, as well as the extra members that have come in. And now, is Team Liquid good enough here to be able to stand up to Team Dignitas?
This is a big, big match. Like, this feels like it could have been the finals.
Definitely.
Team Liquid, that's going to be the big question here that you're asking. Are they good enough to take on this new mix of some players from previously of Team Dignitas already and the newest 2 additions from Na'Vi? And that's going to be very interesting to see whether or not we see either team trying something special or if they both already believe that they are better and just try to play, you know, a more standard game. Like, obviously, in a draft, you're always going to try some stuff here and there. But if they don't bring out any pocket picks, if they don't try anything crazy, it means that they both believe that they are better than the other. And then, like, it will come down to the execution, I guess.
And well, guys, before we actually get to a little start of this series, let's hear a few words from Bakery from Team Dignitas.
Our first few games were really shaky, but once we got into it, we felt really good. I think since game 1 to our 5th game, we've been gradually improving everyone. And I think we can keep that going, and I think we'll have a pretty good time in the semi-finals. It's not very often that I actually think back to sort of how far I've come since I started playing Heroes. And when it hits you, like, oh, I'm here in Sweden, I've flown here to like play a video game, it's really cool every time.
And that was Bakery, of course, as all the other members of Team Dignitas have no voices, and Bakery is the only person that can speak on their team. Oh, actually, no, Snitch can speak, but he speaks at 1,000,000 miles an hour like this, and he really can't understand what he's saying. Overall, Team Dignitas, I feel that they are quite confident coming in. As much as they said before, yeah, they haven't had much time to practice and things like that, I think they realize that their roster is extremely, extremely stacked right now.
But what I'm really curious about is, I mean, Dignitas hadn't have to face a really strong, or one of the major favorites in the team thus far in this tournament. I mean, they had Team Rocket, not a bad team by any means, but still not a tough nut to crack as in the level of Fnatic or any of the other teams that are in the semifinals right now. Also, TCM, you know, they had potential, but this is going to be the first time where they really have to prove that they belong in the top spot where they are right now.
And then when it comes to how they've developed with their new members, Shrimpy and JPL, we all know how they were able to play with Navi. Is that kind of influence here a good influence on the rest of the members of Team Dignitas? We saw even Shrimpy pulling out things like Play Again on Vikings. It's very, very different to what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I think like stylistically and in-game, they've already shown that they are already developing their own kind of style together, you know, coming from different teams. But even in terms of getting along together, I think it's going pretty well between, like, they seem to get along really well. And I mean, that was the plan too. Like, you don't make a team with people you don't think you're going to get along with. That was the plan here. They thought that with these players as a 5, they're not just going to have a huge potential as players and as a team, but also they're going to have a good ambience, you know?
Oh. All right, well, I'm just getting word that we can head over to the stage here to have a few words with both of the teams about what they think about the semi-final.
Thank you, Calaris. I'm here with Bakery from Team Dignitas and with Vortex from Team Liquid. First, I want to know from you, Bakery, do you have anything to say to this team?
We dethroned your last team, we'll dethrone this one as well.
Ooh, okay. Do you have to say something back to that?
Yeah, I mean, talking is easy, so just prove it in game.
Well, I'm excited. So please shake hands and let the games begin. Back to you, James.
Wow.
All right. That's one way to start this semi-final.
Yeah, Bakery kind of stared at Nicera for a second. I was like, is he going to say something? And then he said something very, very strong here.
Oh, those are big words. Those are big words. The thing is that I can... Normally, when you have team games or things like this, and normally when you have these interviews, you listen to those kind of things like, words, or whatever. But Team Dignitas have kind of proven themselves a lot recently. I mean, it's a new roster for sure, but it's still, as we've mentioned, it is a powerhouse roster.
Words are big. Just prove it in the game, Vortex said. A very calm response, and yet very truthful that talk is big and words are actually bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, games are bigger.
Oh, okay. I was like, talk and talk. All right.
You know what's bigger than talk? Conversing, shouting.
Shout really loudly.
Good arguments.
But Team Liquid for sure have a demeanor of calmness about them, right? I mean, even the extra members that they have recruited, like Chris, for example, you are totally correct in that they do, for the most part, allow their games to speak for themselves.
Are they, though? Are they calm? Because there's a lot of pressure here on their shoulders, especially after what Bakery just said. If I had heard that, I know I'd be getting pretty nervous.
Maybe a little angry.
Okay, well, you know me. That's just me, okay? It's not me we're talking about, but...
Look at Vortex, he looks so angry right now.
He looks pretty focused.
I agree with Calaris.
Kill them all.
Yeah, I mean, Calaris, you have a good point. I mean, if you're a regular viewer of Chris's stream, for example, he's a very calm player.
Yes.
And he likes to explain things in a very calm manner. And I think that is what is really good for a team in terms of, you know, remaining calm and analyzing situations professionally.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, there is Lucifron, the second of our Duran brothers here. After Vortex gave the response. And finally, we have Lowell here, who, you know, after seeing some of the pics that we've been able to see from him, with his cheeky smile.
That's a Damage Karazim smile, all right.
Yes, it is.
What a lady killer.
Is he going to show us how it's done? Because the thing is that between these two teams, actually, a Karazim pick either way is a big limiting factor for one of them, potentially.
If this were a quick match, It'd be Karazim against Karazim and damage against healing.
That'll be quite cool, actually, to see those two Karazims punch each other.
Just wait for
until
the arena.
Infinity.
Just wait for the arena. A couple of months more, and we're going to be able to.
Oh,
fight
no.
5 versus
No.
5 currently.
Yeah.
5 Illidan's, I forgot about that.
5 Illidan's, yes, but supports have been banned from 5 stacking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For those
good.
who,
Never ends.
yeah, 5 lilies. I think it's cool, but actually it's not cool. The arena, new game mode is being introduced by Blizzard. Kind of like a bloodbath frenzy mode, some kind of zone control with fewer limitations on how you can pick your heroes. A bit like Hearthstone, if you've ever played it. The arena mode, where you basically pick from 3 heroes, and you can also have more duplicates than just one of each hero on one team. Kind of cool. We're waiting for that game mode with anticipation.
You're a jack of all trades, aren't you, Robbie?
Yes, he is.
I would love to be an arena player.
He loves picking up 6 flame strikes every single arena game. But of course, here is Schwimpy as well. One of the biggest, I think, transfers, I would say, in terms of all of the transfers that have gone down between like 7 of these 8 teams so far. I think Schwimpy moving from Navi to Dignitas is huge.
One of the bigger names, you know, highest profiles that we have here in Europe. One of the most respected players.
Yeah, if this wasn't 2015, but it would be 3015, this transfer from Schwimpy to Team Liquid would have been at least $6 billion.
At least.
Only 6 billion.
It's an millennium.
That wouldn't be that much money then.
When we have Heroes of the Storm
With the way
25.
inflation's working.
We would all be multi-billionaires in 2016, but you would barely be able to buy food from it.
I can't afford bread with this. Oh, well. Okay, so. I'm very excited to get into the drafts here between these two teams for sure. Again, to reiterate, it is a best of 5. That changes the dynamic. So you mentioned it before, Grubby, that Team Liquid really kind of takes on a different persona in a best of 5 compared to a best of 3.
Yeah, and it's very much so the case for Team Liquid, who have lost a lot of best of 3s, but are doing great in best of 5s.
Yeah.
But it's also generally the case, especially in terms of draft strategy, as we often see a hero being banned. That was initially the reason that a team won. So it's like, we just lost it at ETC, it was so strong, ban it in the next one. There's so much more layers of that. And speaking of ETC, gonna get banned immediately by Team Liquid, and Team Dignitas will remove Tyrande.
All right, well, ETC and Tyrande get banned.
Kael'thas first pick.
And then
It's pretty cool.
I've been bombarded.
Murden Falstad.
I'm not... All right, anyway.
Wow, that's a lot of Skittles.
I'm not even sure how this happened.
You'll be all right, you'll be all right.
I'll be fine, I'll be fine. We have
need to call
ETC and
security.
Tyrande banned. We have Kael'thas being picked up. Is it time now? What is it time for? Is it Murden and Uther?
Murden
Is it-
Falstad,
is it
Falstad.
early?
Available.
Is it early Karazim? Huh?
No.
Oh yeah, true. We talked about how Karazim's gonna be. Like, if Karazim doesn't get picked now, those Liquid go for it next. Like, there's a good chance for it, unless they don't mind.
Oh.
It's
it
Murden
being-
Falstad, the 2 dwarves.
Yeah.
Death from above
Dwarven
and
buddies.
from below under your knees.
Yeah.
So Team Liquid, they have never really picked Karazim this early yet, though.
Yeah, but it's very specific circumstances here now that they face Dignitas. You know,
That's
we talked
true.
about how the prioritization here on picking the Karazim is going to be very important.
It's also interesting to see that Liquid banned their most favorite warrior themselves, right? Because
That's
normally
true.
they like to pair it with Uther. We've seen it times and times again. Maybe to confuse Dignitas or showing their own strength, right? We don't need the same lineup every single game. We
Yeah.
don't need our comfort picks.
I mean, their first pick, maybe they were just fine with, they already made peace with the fact they can go Kael'thas and make sure that the opponents then don't get ETC. So they prioritize Kael'thas essentially over anything else, which he's been doing quite all right himself.
And Johanna, great combination with Kael'thas, as even trying to dodge the chain bombs, Johanna will pull enemies closer together, forcing guaranteed procs on each other of that chain bomb. That's a really great combination to use. And you're right, Karazim will get taken here in the 3rd spot. Todd, a little applause.
So get wrecked. So I think overall, as much as we said it would be a factor here, it's not as much a factor as it would have been, like, say, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
If it would have been Bakery only playing Karazim. He still has those fallback heroes.
Yeah, in the Europe Championships, they were banning Karazim against him. First ban sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've talked about Bakery now. His most favorite hero after Karazim in terms of support is Lieutenant Morales.
Yeah.
So I think we might actually get to see the medic in action here.
You know, it's funny, you mentioned that some people were banning Karazim against Dignitas because they didn't want Bakery to get it. Liquid got dethroned by Dignitas. Maybe they had foreseen this moment was going to come. And they were going to snatch Karazim away. They practiced it. They were like, yeah, we don't like it so much as a hero as we do as a damage dealer. So
they don't
maybe
fall.
it was all calculated.
Yeah, so they don't fall into the trap of G2 where you take away Karazim, but you don't have as much experience with him.
Yeah. So now they prepared the whole time a Karazim damage.
Now, what if they banned Morales?
That's biologically possible, though probably implausible.
Yeah, it's difficult. And also, look for Shrimpy. Look
There's a
for
typo.
Oh yeah, there's no H.
Squimpy. Shrimpy. All right, Testedar got removed. Team Liquid is now considering their second ban. Jaina would be quite a strong ban. Sylvanas, Abathur, of course, still...
Take away Morales from Bakery.
If they don't want to go for extra dive for any reason, take away Morales, leave them with Uther, and then it's less of a limiting factor.
Bakery hasn't played any other healer in a few months.
than Morales.
I guess he'd be fine on Uther.
Team Liquid still has 30 seconds to make that choice. I don't think they should use all of that time pool. They could still be faced with some difficult decisions later on in the pick phase.
Thinking long and hard, because overall, this is probably the hardest task that they're going to have to face so far in the tournament, I would say.
Yeah, they can take another 10 seconds. Then I'll start getting nervous.
Yes, they can. And then we go to the Murky, and it's like, no.
The Falstad Abathur is quite... Oh, it's going to be
coming
Sonya,
in,
actually. All right. Yeah, because Uther's still up. It quite makes sense, doesn't it? Uther Sonya would be a powerful double pick. But now we have a chance to see Abathur Illidan or Abathur something else.
I was just thinking to myself
Abathur
as well,
Jaina.
if they try to limit the supports, then that leaves them in a bit of an odd position themselves in terms of supports, right? Because obviously Karazim, yeah, he's taken, but he's not really their support.
Could still be. That's the diversity of
yes,
it.
could
played it in the previous series. Not very flawlessly all the time, but I guess he could still be very comfortable in a hero.
No.
It feels like they got a few choices here to pick from, and if Shrimpy feels like he's up to the task, yeah, he might, I think I agree with you, Grub. He might very well go Abathur with something like a Jaina, which would be very strong.
And of course, some heroes are excellent to be copied for maximum effect of Ultimate Evolution, and Jaina is one of the best ones. Team Dignitas actually going for Lieutenant Morales already, and that would be so strange. Morales, Abathur, I'm starting to not believe Abathur will be picked anymore.
Because Team Liquid plays Karazim as a damage dealer, I guess Dignitas wanted to make sure they secure their healer now and don't have Morales snatched away from them down the line. But that means that they've already made peace with the fact that Liquid might go into Uther, which is a bit strange because I mean, Uther's pretty good, but it seems like Bakery even prefers Morales over Uther here.
Would Uther Abathur be cool? Like Abathur damage Karazim sounds pretty scary. That's a lot of hits.
Let's not forget about Shrimpy's Abathur during the European BlizzCon or Road to BlizzCon Championships when he actually copied an Uther to keep his team alive during a final team fight. That was a really nice
on Battlefield. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Ooh.
It's Dragonshire, and the tanks get opened up, which raises the question: does Dignitas go Chen? Actually, well, they've already got Cigar, so lane phase would be like already a bit weird.
As much as I'm getting hyped about this, Team Liquid pulled it off yesterday against Fnatic already. Didn't end very well, did it?
But it was a different map. It was Tomb of the Spider Queen. On Dragonshire, you can put the bear on the spot, but and it is very strong.
It's great for the laning, but it's not great against Team Dignitas' comp, because there's only one warrior. Well. Rexstar's great against enemy warriors, but yeah, anyway, there's only one.
You can't be too result-oriented, that's the thing. Sometimes it boils down to something else than just the draft.
Like laning,
yeah. But they're anticipating another warrior coming out, surely. Again, we said that, we mentioned that technically Chen is unlocked, but there are other options here available to them. Definitely, they could go for Tyrael if they wanted to.
Sylvanas would be a really strong push. Imagine Morales, Sagara, Sylvanas in one lane.
That is a very, very scary lane if they wanted to do something like that. And Muradin can solo tank, but it will be the Panda gets unlocked. That's how the Dragonshire works, apparently.
Cool. Really, really cool draft from both sides.
Yeah. The Rexar, Misha Charge is actually not a bad tool to interrupt Shen when it's needed.
Yeah.
So I really admire Aethera Angel's courage, but it also shows how confident he is on his Shen play. I mean, you've told a little bit of the story about when he first came to play Heroes of the Storm, but...
I think you told that story, actually.
I think I told it.
Did you tell that? I think I did. No, it was Todd. It was Todd.
And we all can disagree. Todd did it, so Todd did it.
Was not.
Good job, Todd. All right.
So much for playing it standard, huh?
Yeah.
As much as this is not like absolutely out of the ordinary, it's definitely not your typical draft.
It's
This looks like
Dragon
another one of those example drafts that like they would be like in a video at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Like Chen, Rexar, you're right. You're just trying to push these awesome heroes on us, but we know that's not a real draft. Wait a second.
It is.
Right. But the Reyna pick, I feel, was a really cool choice by Team Liquid at the very end to counteract the fact that there was always the potential of Shen coming out. And in terms of tanks, in terms of warriors, he is one with another high health pool over at the same time as Muradin.
Yeah, not the very highest, but the second highest health pool in the game, if you're not counting health bonuses. Muradin and Diablo, of course, the highest ones with bonuses, with the Avatar or the Soul Stone. So Reyna, excellent choice there with Giant Killer against those guys. And I can't wait to see how this game will unfold, guys.
I'm putting you all on the spot now that we're in best of fives. It's Dignitas or Team Liquid. Kendrick, what are you thinking?
I really like Dignitas' lineup here. It's just something out of the ordinary. It's flashy to play. And after I've seen Team Liquid with the Rexar yesterday, not convincing me at all, I have to give it to Dignitas for this draft.
I just love to disagree with Kendrick so much. I'm gonna go with Team Liquid.
Bring it on, buddy.
You did this in StarCraft, and now you're like brutalizing Kendrick in this.
And normally Tot is such an agreeable person.
Somebody has to.
It's just for the show, I'm sure. It's
Oh,
just
yes.
for the show.
Oh, yes.
So I have the easy moment where I can cast my vote on either side. I think Team Dignitas' draft is looking really solid.
No mistake.
Morales can get dived on by Misha and by Karazim, but will still be fairly comfortable. So Team Dignitas, I think.
All right, what a series to start off our semi-finals. Let's get into it. Game number 1 on Dragonshire. Take it away, Todd and Kendrick.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. So welcome to Dragonshire, everybody. We have from left to right Team Liquid, Vortex, playing here with Misha. It is actually the Rexar. Chris on the Kel'Thas, Lucifron, excuse me, on the tank, the Johanna, and Gerd Herd supporting his team with Karazim. And Lowell, of course, here on the Reyna, bringing the Jimmy. On the right side, we see Dignitas, Ethereal Angel on the Pandaren, Brewmaster, aka Shen, Schwimpy here on the Muradin, Snitch playing Zagara, Bakery on Lieutenant Morales, and JPL on the Falstad.
What we've seen in the past in this kind of high-stake match between two top teams is that synergy is going to be very important. Making sure that you all play and think as one. Every time that there is a single call that's being made, you need to go with it. It's going to be so important. So looking forward to seeing who does better here with this. But so far, it looks like
Both teams, they're bumping heads against each other in the mid lane already. Nothing too dramatic happening, though. You know, teams like to do that. They like to check each other out and, you know, sort of test their boundaries, test the limits, how far they can go.
I mean, going for a big fight in the start of this game here doesn't really make sense.
That's
so
for
disengaging. Yeah.
And also, what is very important on Dragonshire, we've highlighted it actually time over and over again, is clearing waves. So you can really see that they're wasting, or not wasting, but they're actually using all their AoE abilities to clear these waves as quickly as humanly possible. Now, Lucifron here in a little bit of trouble here in top lane, but of course Iron Skin is going to prevent anything worse.
Yeah, let's see what's happening here at the bottom. Liquid playing it safe so far. A lot of potential here from both teams in terms of locking somebody down and taking them out very quickly. A lot of consistent damage, decent burst. Not that much CC maybe, but either way, whoever steps out of position is going to get punished here. So it's going to be very important to be on point with everything, including positioning.
Yeah, now one thing that we should keep track of, or two things actually, is Lieutenant Morales' build and Shen's build, because those are heroes that have not been taken very frequently. JPL, no. Dueling against Lucifron.
Dignitas are absolutely dominating the lane phase. Look at the hit points on the top left from Team Liquid. All of their heroes, they've lost so many hit points. That was so close to being the first Dragon Knight.
They're under a lot of pressure. Good thing of you to highlight that, Todd. And that buys Liquid, Dignitas, excuse me, a lot of time to actually take control of these shrines. But, you know, Johanna, a very stable mid laner, so they were actually doing a really good job at sending Lucifron there to prevent the first Dragon Knight from happening. Now, Ethereal Angel in a little bit of trouble, and even the mighty Shen is probably not going to be able to tank that amount of damage.
He's going to go down.
Going for his face.
He goes down, but he bought so much time. There were 3 heroes there for the longest time, and Dignitas, they adjusted so fast. They sent Falstad from mid to top and Muradin from bottom to mid. So they're going to be soaking consistently, regardless of what happened there.
Look at Bakery's level 4 talent, by the way. He did not go for the advanced block tot, but he went for improved ballistics. So that means he's not scared of those mighty basic attacks coming in. I think that's a very bold move to ignore the potential damage threat here from Reigner, especially in late games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether Rexar prioritizes Morales down the line a little bit more, because she can go down very quick if you can't get your hands on her.
Now, Lucifron falling victim to the Stormbolt here. Body blocking are huge from Schwimpy. The little dwarf is actually quite a massive presence here when he wants to prevent enemies from getting home.
A huge snipe there from Dignitas. Bring it back, 1 takedown, 2-1. Equal in experience here so far. It's gonna be a Storm Earth and Fire, right?
I think so. I mean, the Wandering Keg is a very risky, a very chancy heroic ability. Sometimes it doesn't really work the way you want it to be. The enemies can also dodge it fairly easily, so I would strongly assume so.
It definitely would make a lot of sense here to go for these. Nice Crypt Tumors here at the bottom. I'm going to give a bunch of vision to Snitch. He's got Bakery babysitting him as well. Doesn't really get any better than this in terms of support, keeping you alive around.
Absolutely. Now,
it's like, by the way,
yeah,
Liquid is investing a lot of effort here on that top lane to make sure Athero Angel is not having an easy time.
Yeah, and that's of course what they should do. I mean, if you leave that Shen unguarded or unaware, then he's going to dominate every single lane. Even a Zagara can't really hold her own, because the shields provided by Fortifying Brew are enough to actually soak up the damage coming in from Hunter Killer. Now, talking about Rexar though, Vortex a little bit of trouble. He would actually have to use Misha defensively, but it wasn't even enough against 3 people coming out here from Dignitas. Nice pickoff.
Yeah, out of position for just a little bit here. Gonna get punished for it. Lustifron is in next.
Another rotation. What is Liquid doing here right now? It looks very shaky, and that could actually... Oh, nice reaction here, though. Garrett and Hurd making sure that the bottom shrine is secured, but I really like these early game rotations by Team Dignitas.
Yeah, we got this level 7 talents here coming into play. Johanna actually went for battle momentum here. We had cleanse on Morales. Rapid incubation on Zagara to, I guess, try and stay alive a little bit better without having to rely that much on Morales.
Yeah, and Shen going, of course, here for Brewmaster's Balance at level 7. It's a very interesting talent, as it is capable of providing 2 bonus effects to Shen, or even, you know, 2 at the same time if he remains 50% brew. That is actually really interesting. The effect that takes place if he has more than 50 brew is an increased health regeneration, and if he falls below 50 brew, he has actually 20% increased movement speed forever.
Forever and ever.
And ever and ever. At least until he drinks it.
Vortex is doing a good job, I think, at the top.
I think that makes Kalaris very happy right now, because that's exactly what he was trying to highlight during the draft phase. Misha counts as a whole hero. Now we see a team fight going down, at least a little engagement here. Vortex, once again, I mean,
he was even pretty close to his wall here. This is crazy. It seems like Rexar is getting shut down completely so far by Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, Rexar is very weak without Misha, so with Misha guarding the shrine, he was actually all by himself and couldn't use Misha's charge to stun the enemies charging at him. Now we see another rotation.
Wow.
Lowell, I mean, Dignitas, they are not hesitating, they're not messing around, and they're dominating the early game. And this is exactly what Nazira tried to talk about to Vortex as well. Team Liquid, during the early stage of the game, they look shaky.
Absolutely, yeah. Dignitas looking so convincing early on in the game here. Making a lot of right choices. I mean, they lost 1 hero earlier on in the game. Chris is going to be able to escape here, but decision-making wise, the ganks, it's been very, very clean. We've got the heroics here kicking in. We're going to have Medivac, Avatar, Storm, Earth and Fire, Devouring Maw, and Mighty Gust. And on the other side, it's going to be the Blessed Shield.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, after playing so many times Heroes of the Storm, that is, JPL with the Dragon Knight putting a lot of pressure here, and the punt is still satisfying to see. But as we said times and times over, the Dragon Knight not really so strong in the early game, and he's forced to retreat here. Lowell, is he going to get caught here? Stormbolt hitting his target. Now the Mutalisk, or actually the Hyrule, excuse me, still chasing, but it's not going to be enough. Dragon Knight falling down here at this very moment. But Team Dignitas, they have managed to pull themselves ahead by a huge amount, actually, at this point.
Schwimpy on the mirror, and actually almost fully body blocked him, the Rainer, but in the end, he barely got through.
Exactly. Now, Team Liquid...
They're gonna contest.
Yeah, they're trying to take the Siege Giant camp, but Team Dignitas, they are very confident here right now, trying to contest it, not making it, you know, even though they played a pretty flawless game here, they don't want to overextend and overcommit here.
Yeah. I think they realized that there were too many Liquid players here for them to contest, and Athero Angel is still at the top doing his thing, drinking.
Sneaky Pandaren, man. I wish I could drink as much as he could.
Out drinking is, oh, you can only try.
Wouldn't very end for me, probably.
That tower.
There we go. Vortex, we mentioned it, by the way. Misha counts as a full hero. That's why she's capable of contesting shrines and other objectives here in Heroes of the Storm. But at the same time, we've also mentioned that one. If you separate her too far from Rexar himself, he's a rather weak hero because Misha is actually the warrior component of his kit, while Rexar should be played more as an assassin.
Vortex definitely be having a little bit of a rough time early on in the game. I wonder, how well do you think Karazim's going to be able to keep everybody alive here on his team with quite a few fragile heroes here in Raynor, Kel'Thas, and Rexar?
Yeah, I think Grumpakete will definitely play a major role in securing the win, or a good role here for the team fights. Team Liquid, I'm not fully sold on their roster. I mean, Raynor is going to need a lot of time to get stronger. So does Rexar, so does Kel'Thas. So they need just hold on a little bit longer, not fall behind even more. And if Team Dignitas capitalizes early and puts up the pressure and maintains the pressure, I think they look very strong.
Level 13 talents come into play here. We got Relentless on Shen. That come in handy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Giant
Relentless
killer on the Falstad.
Not a very frequent talent. Sometimes people like to take the brew share talent where you actually shield allies while drinking around you, and then combine that off even with the boulder flavor, because boulder flavor actually affects the shields provided to allies as well, and that makes him a really strong support actually. Now we see the top shrine being held by our dear Pandaren. Now he's a little bit in trouble now. Swimpy once again, get him here. He is in trouble using Divine Palm on himself. Is he gonna make it? Yes, he is.
If the stun had landed properly, they might have been able to get him here.
Yeah, of course. If you just allow Karazim a tiny little window here to use Divine Palm on anyone or himself, you of course cannot take him down without reviving him. So that was a very nice reaction coming in from the German player.
Karazim is also going to have Relentless to work with.
Oh, that's a sandwich coming in here. And Bakery getting in a really bad spot. Morales, one of the squishiest supports if you manage to get a hold of her. Surrounded by multiple enemies here from Team Liquid. But as we see it right now, JPL on the Dragon Knight once more, dealing a lot of damage to these structures.
They finally got Morales here, the Team Liquid, but at what cost? That's what we say.
At what cost?
Every time as JPL starts working here on this top fort. Gothammer, Chris and Lowell seem to want to push by themselves here at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job here. We'll get him hit now. I think he got a little bit too deep there, but he's on the hunt. He wants to get snitched. Now, Schwimpy also in a little bit of trouble using the Dwarf Toss to actually catapult himself away from the danger. You could actually see something. Did you see the flying kick?
Yeah. Snitch, he was doing his own kind of drinking, by the way, with the rapid incubation there for a second.
I don't want to imagine what Zagara likes to drink in her free time.
Creep.
But yeah, we could also see something that makes Shen a very unpopular hero in the competitive scene right now, because his Q, the flying kick, doesn't automatically always put you behind your targets. Now we see a big fight coming in though. Mighty Guest disengaging, so preventing the Hyperion from dealing any damage, and to trade a cooldown from Mighty Gust against the Hyperion, that's a good trade, man.
Hype what? Go back there, and we're gonna leave as well. We don't want that Battle Cruiser to take any part in this game here.
Exactly.
Dignitas disengages, closing in on level 16 very rapidly here.
Yeah, and so that means they're going to have a talent sooner than their opponents, Team Liquid that is. Are we going to see what that is? Especially the Shen interests me quite a lot here. Are we going to see Bowler Flavor or the pin pressure point? And it is going to be the pressure point.
Oh, do they try to go for a fight at bottom? We have a big rotation. Dignitas are up one talent. Do they try to get the fight here? They have 4. Okay, the Stonebolt was very disappointing.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Pressure Point is a very dangerous talent, as it will slow each enemy affected by your flying kick for 90% for 1 second. So if you get caught by Shen, things might get really bad for you.
It seems like Team Liquid, they've always done a very good job of disengaging when they had to, but they might be engaging a little bit too early here. They don't have level 16. I don't know why Dignitas were pulling back there. If they had engaged before level 16 was acquired by Team Liquid, they would have been in a great position. They might get engaged into now. They're very far out on their opponent's side of the map. Yeah, Falstad is far away.
They have all the ingredients that they need to start a team fight. I mean, as you said, Todd, Falstad can fly in to support his teammates, but they're looking kind of hesitant right now. And also, Misha is not to be underestimated as time goes by, because she gets a lot of strong talents, as we can see here, actually. Wildfire Bear kicking in, also the animal. Oh, there we go, big more hiding 3 people inside, and up comes the Stormbolt. Great lockdown, but it's not going to be enough here. Counter engagement by Lucifer protecting his teammates. Now Shen going in though with the flying kick. Is it going to be enough? They lock down Gerdam here, the support. Not enough damage dealt, and now, oh, what a golden Divine Palm on Lowell, keeping him alive, but Lucifer might die in the process here.
Hyperion is back, he's used pretty much straight away. The double. Actually, they're actually just gonna disengage here.
I think so. I think both teams realize that they actually use a lot of heroic abilities, have a lot of cooldowns up right now. Although Muradin Schwimpy still has an avatar, which is a big factor when engaging the enemy team.
The double imposing presence helps so much.
Yeah, it really does. And the cool thing about Rexstar is when he picks it, it counts for himself as well as Misha. Now we have another Dragon Knight marching, a Thero Angel this time piloting.
He couldn't take feign death because of it, so that's also a thing that could put him in danger, but I guess since there is Johanna doing all the tanking at the front, ideally, it seemed all right so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Got him hurt. I have to get out of there.
Yeah, Karazim here being one of the main targets for Dignitas thus far. Thero Angel, you know, he's using that fire breath. He's using the mighty axe that the Dragon Knight swings so readily, and now we have Misha actually being locked down. Oh, run, little bear.
And so far, the first game of this best of 5 really delivering here.
Yeah, it really is, and as time goes by, of course, the Dragon Knight gets stronger and stronger. Look at how much damage these brutal basic attacks are actually delivering.
Liquid looks like they wanted to engage here for a second. Vortex taking quite a bit of damage. He's gonna have to pull back.
Yeah, now we have another Maul. Look at that. Not only is it blocking and damaging, it's also causing Grand Knight to be in a good spot. Chris getting focused here. Is he gonna die? No! A last second Divine Palm. Once again, Gerdam here doing a lot of work. Now JPL falling down, and this is a bad spot for Team Liquid nevertheless because they lost 2 members already. The Hyperion also flying around, but the Thero Angel with his Pandaren Pelt and Muradin still holding the line. Is it going to be enough? Dignitas on the retreat right now.
Yeah, the Divine Palm was fantastic, but is it enough though? They take down Shen here. Liquid managed to trade 2 for 2. After it looked like Dignitas were going to be able to disengage. They're now on the chase. Schwimpy
despite being outnumbered here, Team Liquid turning this whole thing around.
Yeah, Schwimpy here, he was running a little bit low on mana, but he had the Dwarf Toss anyway, just enough. So he gets out, and Dignitas are still one entire level ahead. But Team Liquid definitely put up a good fight here. It looked for a moment that they might be in more trouble than they were in the end.
Absolutely, and now both teams have to lick their wounds. They have to wait until they're complete. We see the Medic, by the way, coming in. It's actually the first time I think we saw it in the game, eh?
I think Bakery, for the most part, like especially on a map like this, where you can go around very quickly, saves it as an escape in case he's in trouble in fights.
That's a very good point. You have to time it wisely, though, as it does have a certain activation time, so you have to use it at the exact right moment. Now, Team Liquid, they're still clearing mercenary camps here, unlocking the Bruiser camp. Very nice.
They're catching up, experience-wise.
Yeah, they're catching up. That's a good point. And once both teams hit low 20, I might actually say that Dignitas with a Rainer, with a Rexstar even, and a Johanna getting the indestructible talent, they're looking a lot stronger.
Yeah, Team Liquid, that definitely will help them a lot here.
Yeah, but now Team Dignitas, they're actually pretty close to obtaining level 20. So what do you think are we going to see here, Todd? For Lieutenant Morales especially, are we going to see the Caduceus reactor?
I like it personally, but I mean, I'm a terrible Morales. I'm not the one you should ask. My positioning in particular is awful.
Sometimes Lieutenant Morales, they also like to go for Storm Shield if there's a lot of AoE damage, which could be the case here for Kel'Thas, of course.
It was Caduceus reacting.
Yeah, there we go. It's just such a safe and good talent.
What about Muradin? He's got so much to pick from.
Yeah, making a very good point there. Sometimes you want to go for Rewind to keep your crowd control steady and up. Sometimes you want to go for Hardened Shield. Really depends on the situation. I think he's playing a very similar game as we've seen it earlier. They want to wait until...
Oh, he goes for Hardened Shield.
Yeah.
Took his time.
Wow.
Epic Mount, by the way, available on the Falstad. Dignitas with yet another Dragon Knight. They've had so many this game. They're pressing forward. They're level 20 here. They want to do some damage on that keep.
Yeah, and this time it's not JPL in sight. I think they figured they needed his damage outside of the Dragon Knight to actually make this keep fall a little bit quicker. Thero Angel now piloting it. Lucifer also trying to body block and peel for his allies here. But this is a very slow and steady process. But eventually they are going to dismantle the first keep of the game, while Team Liquid is still not 20. So that means they can't really fight back.
Yeah, they need to take their time here, those Team Liquid. So that level 20, this should be the priority. Once they equal these talents and level 20 heroics as well, they are going to be able to take the fight. It's going to happen in a second.
Wow, yeah.
Could Dignitas be overextending here?
I mean, they're not scared right now, but they should expect the level 20 coming out any time or any minute. And here we go. There it is. Now Team Dignitas, they should pull back. They've got to keep. That's what they wanted. There is no need to overextend and no need to throw this game potentially.
Wow, Dignitas still with 6 forts here. They
That is
haven't lost a
incredible.
single one. Yeah, they're just playing really well.
Yeah, they're not letting Team Liquid get anything.
Yeah, somehow it's whoa!
Oh, that's a funky maneuver here. Is it going to be enough? Lowell? Oh, he's pulling back everybody in Team Liquid. Falling victim, but a counter maul here. Wonderful play. Is it going to be enough? We see Storm Shield coming out here. Vortex with Amisha. JPL dropping very rapidly here. Shrimpy trying to keep Kalthus busy, so that's at least a little bit of damage gone for the team fight.
Riz gets there late as he wasn't there for almost the entirety of that fight here.
Wow.
And now Liquid, they're trying to fight a 4-on-5 here. And this is not going to go well for them. They're going to get chased down. Dignitas with incredible momentum. Can they take down Johanna?
Who's the front? Is he gonna fall? Oh, I think his indestructible would have been ready anyway, but it's of course better to save that for a very or more important moment here. Team Dignitas, they are now in the making. They have the they're calling in the medevac, and where's it gonna land? I think it's gonna be top lane. Quick rotation here. They knew that the keep was still weakened up there, and they're gonna go for it.
Yeah, they've got enough here. They've got enough mana, enough hit points. They're gonna Mighty Gust
Beautiful.
the entirety of Team Liquid back here. That keep is not going down just yet, and Liquid, it looks like they really want to go into that fight. I think they didn't know that the Rainer is almost back there. If they can keep those heroes isolated.
Is the Zero Angel gonna make it? Of course. Oh, Storm, Earth, and Fire. Such a wonderful talent, or such a wonderful ability. It provides Shen with a second health bar, allowing him to actually use this new abilities that he gets to split the Pandaren Pels and actually move away very safely here. So great stuff. They got the keep that they wanted. They also saved a Zero Angel on the Shen. So great coordination and great play by Team Liquid overall. Team Dignitas, excuse me.
And his catapult here will be pushed back with 2 keeps down. Liquid are going to be in quite a bit of trouble there. It's a very hard situation to recover from, especially since there is no leeway. Like they didn't kill a single fort out on the map. Like, how do they get across the map? How do they backdoor? That's not possible. It's going to have to be a slow recovery where they need to win fight after fight, starting with this one here.
In a little bit of trouble, getting stun locked here. The Blessed Shield came out. Mighty Gust also wasn't enough to keep Team Liquid at bay for now. Vortex and Lucifron, the two brothers, they're a little bit separating themselves here from the rest of the team, but looks
Team
like
Dignitas just disengages quite easily.
Yeah, exactly. No major team fight to erupt here. Shrimpy just showing his presence there using the Stormbolt, but of course no major follow-up coming in anytime soon. And it's a good point that you made, by the way, Todd. The more structures you get rid of, the freer you can actually move around the map.
Theo Angel.
Theo Angel once more being the body back here to sandbag.
This has to stop. Liquid really needs to go for Morales. They can't kill anybody. If you leave Morales to heal someone, that person will never die.
They are clearly trying to poke anyone, but they shouldn't go for the Shen here. That's definitely not the target they want to go for. Theo Angel here using his fortifying crew to keep him alive and fighting against Amisha. That's a very sad battle here. Vortex, of course,
I think Dignitas, they're ready to fight. They're going to go right in there.
They're going to go in there indeed. I mean, they have to prevent Team Dignitas here from obtaining the Dragon Knight once more, because after 20 minutes, it hits like a truck. And with 2 keeps being down already...
Look at Bakery's positioning. He's always close to the wall, always close to that tower.
Yeah. And that's exactly how you should play Lieutenant Morales. Stay away from the enemy engagers.
Oh, he's
this
finally
time,
exposed.
Lucifron going in.
Liquid were waiting for this, but then Bakery pulls back just on time. Mighty Gust is going to push them back anyway. Devouring Maw misses completely here.
That could actually be a big factor for the ensuing team fight. Not having a Devouring Maw ready and using the Mighty Gust, you know, to sort of screw the combo over. That's actually a little mistake here that we should not see too often from Team Dignitas.
Liquid, they can't really leave this position though, can they? Because if they do, they get engaged.
Look at top lane, by the way. We have a big minion wave coming in. Of course, due to the catapults, they have that pressure on these lanes. And Team Liquid, they're going to have to fall back eventually to defend the core. But that means exactly what's happening right now.
They might just
another
finish.
Dragon Knight.
They're so healthy. Team Dignitas has so many hit points. There's already a catapult here in the top lane. On location, Rexar is going to pull back home. But right now, Team Liquid are going to be in so much trouble as Team Dignitas look to try and dethrone them here with their new lineup another time around.
Really nice. And let's look at JPL. I mean, his Mighty Gust is going to be a great tool to actually keep the defenders at bay. But as we could see, Bakery falling. I think he was just trying to buy time here, though, for the Dragon Knight, who keeps pounding and hammering on the enemy core, and it's going to be enough. GG! Nice distraction maneuver at the end here, coming in from Bakery. And what a solid performance from Dignitas, not dropping a single foretaught. That is quite impressive.
Absolutely. Looking about as dominant as they did back in the European Road to BlizzCon, where they won the tournament not losing a single map. That was almost in Twimpy and a JPL's case, of course.
Yeah.
Who really did so well here in this game. Twimpy on the Muradin, he was always in there doing the right stunts.
Yeah.
And it looks like this Dignitas Navi medal of a new lineup definitely is working out very well once again here against Team Liquid in map number 1.
Yeah. The fact that Lieutenant Morales never died unless, until the very end speaks for a very strong front line. I mean, Shwimpy, Ethereal Angel, so dominant, so protective. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking just off camera there for a moment about how Dignitas are looking better from game to game to game throughout the tournament, but also, as you mentioned, this Morales. Do people now have to attribute it to, like, it's almost always going to get picked up if you're going to take Karazim, especially away from them, and then do you need to craft a better dive composition against this because you just have a hard time?
I mean, when people used to play Sergeant Hammer a lot, you would ignore her at your own peril.
Yeah.
You would get a Stitches to bring her to you, or you would get some people to jump on her. Morales is the same thing. If you play straight up against her with a stable comp, you're going to die. Like, unless you're winning in some other way, like better objective or better strategy or rotation. Healing so much. Remember that moment Chen was like 10% and got healed to full in just 5 seconds.
But the thing about this is here, though, Bakery's positioning is already insane. You're almost never going to catch him. But if you do, they have not only Devouring Maw, but Mighty Gust as well.
Yeah.
To kind of like reset the fight, push the opponents away, or isolate them. How?
And
this
all the
is a
defensive
combo.
talents. I mean,
did you ever think that we could combo more or less with Sagara and Fastpass but probably not get dived into?
Yeah, it's difficult to really get on top of it. Yeah. I mean, even here when he's at level 18 and doesn't have Caduceus Reactor 2.0, he's got no mana, but they're still just having these little bits of healing coming out. And yeah, I think mana for healing, she is the most efficient, but it's so powerful, so powerful.
And he was so courageous as well. I mean, he didn't even go for advanced block against the Rainer, who's known to be one of the strongest hitters in Heroes of the Storm. That really speaks for Bakery's comfort, and he feels really well in Lieutenant Morales, it seems.
Some nice usage out of Medivac as well.
Yeah.
We actually had a bit of a giggle when Morales went to the top keep and everyone was chain bombed.
Yeah.
And we kind of want to actually see that again maybe later in the VOD, because was it the Medivac that got chain bombed and then gave it to everyone as they unloaded 4 seconds later? Or did people go in with the chain bomb and somehow that got frozen in time and they came out of it? That was a bit weird. Or did the chain bomb hit one hero when they went into the Medivac and then spread it while inside? I don't know exactly.
Even
we need to figure it out.
As a call, actually, on audio, that must have been a pretty funny one. It's like they win the fight, he's like, all right, get in, boys.
Let's go. But I was mentioning it before to Grubby as well, is that on Dragonshire, you actually very rarely see assaults down that path on the bridge, because that can be a killing field. If you are attacking your opponents down that path, it can be very, very difficult to actually mount a winning strike down that, because it is so narrow. So definitely something that they have to consider.
Yeah.
Definitely when going into that. But they don't have to anymore, because Dragonshire is done and Team Dignitas were able to take that. It was a very strong performance, almost never really dropping the ball there. Team Liquid had, I don't know, was it the Rexar that didn't do it for them? How did Rexar even fit into that? Was there a threat from Rexar there?
Judging from the way Vortex played in the early game, I have to question whether he feels really comfortable on the hero. I mean, he was pressured so many times and dying, although he was getting close to his towers. And I mean, Misha is usually a good hero to take the shrines, I agree, but at the same time, you have to know when to pull her back, when to use Misha charge to protect yourself against an onslaught of enemies. And I'm not sure if Vortex did that really well in the early game.
I mean, the thing is that when you take Rexar as well, you're taking usually Bestial Wrath to actually try and kind of add a little bit of extra damage to that. But if you're giving up a hero and then a whole heroic ability to an ability where didn't really see it do much there, it is quite the significant push forwards to try and say, we're going to take this over another hero that has a very useful heroic set, like Ethereal or whatever, depending on what was banned and not. But man, what do you think?
Quite right, quite right. They don't have enough engage on Morales there. Like, and Unleash the Hounds could be quite cool if someone will follow up and try and penetrate the backline.
Oh, the boss.
Yeah, I'm almost feeling like they're taking Rexar just because they practiced it, just because they want a trump card, without fully realizing every situation that you can use it in. Or perhaps I'm completely wrong and they think it's another reason they lost. The Chen, by the way, 66,000 hero damage. He had more hero damage than almost anyone on Team Liquid side. He was the second highest damage dealer after Zagara, more than Falstad.
That's a Hero Angel for you, man.
You know,
he swears by Shen.
Do you not, sorry, let's theorize briefly. We're getting into the second draft, so let's jump into that.